Hello, thanks for clicking on the video. Just wanted to talk about how we provide some water to some of our livestock at random points around the river. Here in North Carolina, you can pump up to 10,000 gallons of water per day out of a public waterway, and basically if a waterway is navigable by a boat, then the waterway is deemed public waterway. You can access the edge of the bank from property that you own or lease. And yeah, so basically we have a little electric pump. It's like one that people use often in farm settings for dispensing irrigation, fertilizer, and etc. But in this case, we're using it to pump water from the river. It works really well. I leave it out in all types of weather. I barely protect it. I bring it up the bank and store it right over there next to the generator. So I minimally cover them. Generator pretty much stays there. Same with that. Generator doesn't use much fuel. I haven't filled that up for like 3 months, and we've been pumping water from here for that long pretty much. So basically I just run a hose up the hill to the tank and water trough that's next to it, then run the electric line down right next to the water line. Very simple. Down the steep bank, find a nice place at the top of the river. I got a little intake hose, so basically that pump, I'll go down there I guess. So it's pretty quiet actually. This pump I bought on Amazon for like $100 and some. Maybe it was $200. I want to say it was like $150, and it's done great for over a year. Every time I need to pump, maybe I need to pump once a week, maybe 3 times a month, and pumps for about 30 minutes, and then that's it. So I don't ask a lot of it. But basically, it comes with just an open hole there and an open hole here, and this open hole is for the intake. So I got this this pipe. I got everything I think from Agri Supply, but you could probably get it at Tractor Supply or any other hardware store near you. This is I think 1.5 inch intake pipe, and you get this little fitting that goes in, and it's a quick connect. So then there's the male in that it attaches to the screw in that goes into there. So it's all plastic going into metal, so you're never going to get it stuck. You can always take it out and reconfigure it, put a new lever or whatever on it, have a splitter, because these things are pretty powerful. So this guy just has a male to male in that just has a standard garden hose attachment, and then I just have 2 garden hoses attached to each other to run up the hill. And last year when we were pumping here, about this time of year, which is March, hey Doug, a snake was waking up, and this giant black snake came crawling out the hole right there under that root. Scared the crap out of me. I thought it was the hose, and I almost stepped on it. That would have been bad. But yeah, you kind of see right here, I just find this big old root that's sticking out into the water, or branch, and it's been there for like over a year. Last time we pumped here, it was still here too, and I just tuck it under that, and the flow of the river holds it. But again, one guy across the river came out here hollering to me saying, like, do you have a permit to pump here, one day? And I said, I don't need a permit. And in the law in North Carolina, it says a public waterway, you can pump up to 10,000 gallons of water per day. That's an insane amount of water. There's actually a sod farm through the trees up there. It's huge, like 100 acres, maybe more. It goes across the road that's way up there, and they have an irrigation pipe that goes down into the water, and it's huge. It looks like a giant T shape coming down, and then there's like a T, and it collects water for both ends. And that that thing pumps water up into the sod fields, you know, with a giant irrigation sprinkler system. But they had to reinforce the whole bank. The guy said that they actually demoed a whole concrete house, cinder block reinforced house, in order to get enough cinder block to get down with the long reach excavator arm and actually physically drop it down all over the bank, because they're worried about you know, the bank's giving way. So hopefully the pump isn't too loud. You can see these beautiful bumblebees coming to this, I guess like a lowland bushberry or some type of bushberry. All I know is I don't eat a lot of them, but I do eat them. They're little tiny blueberries, and they're freaking good. My kids just sit there and gorge themselves, so they can't be too bad. So yeah. Then we get elderberries that grow all over here, and so really the bees have a lot of stuff to go through around here. But yeah, so this is the Lower Little River in North Carolina by Fayetteville. And another thing I wanted to talk about, now I remember, there's these little spring points that pop up on a lot of properties on that side of the river that when it rains a lot, you actually see the water trickling down pretty quick through these streams. And there's two spring points or stream points that flow super heavy, and maybe I'll show you guys that one day when we're swimming over there by the giant pump to the sod farm. And because they're constantly pumping water up the hill, they're constantly pumping it up and irrigating the whole field, and then it drains back. Then there's 2 points where the water, even in the dry summer, will flow back with a heavy stream, and that water, you know, I feel like it's pretty heavily filtered, going through, you know, 30-foot depth of you know, substrate, if not more, and then the whole distance back to the river. You know, however many pesticides may be there, there's a deep water hole right past it, and it feeds constant, highly oxygenated, very mineral-rich water that is just ice cold all year round, and you can go lay in it, and it feels like, you know, you're dumping ice water into a river in the middle of the summer. But yeah, I can show the water coming out, but I mean, we're going quite a distance. Right now I'm just filling up a water trough. I'm not filling up our tank. We have our tank being used somewhere else. But it's gonna be loud going by the generator, so, you know, sorry people with headphones, but I'm gonna turn your volume down. But yeah, if you're thinking about getting this, I mean, that's a pretty far distance. That's 2 very, very long hoses. And the water flow from that little $100 and some electric pump, man, it is just flowing. We mess around with gas-powered pumps for so long, and they just always have problems. The gas-powered pumps always have problems, and these dang electric pumps, leave them out in the weather, they always crank on when you ask them. They prime very easily. Basically, I just take that bucket that you see with a strap attached to it, and I throw that down into the water. I hold the yellow hose up, and then I pour the water into the hose, turn the pump on, and throw it into the river, and basically it's primed. But you can actually, if it's not going to be freezing weather, you can, those are like aluminum turbines and plastic and everything, and so basically they can handle being wet and go through the weather. So you can just crimp your hose at the end, and then carry your pump up to a higher elevation than the hose so that the water doesn't all drain back out, and you can actually keep your you know, your tank, your pump primed all the time, so you don't have to keep repriming. This donkey is rubbing up against my back. That's why I'm struggling to talk right now. But yeah, basically this is gonna be, you know, just another raw unedited video. Hopefully the generator and pump wasn't too loud for me talking. But yeah, thanks for watching, and maybe you learned something. Alright. Check out our other videos. Thanks. Have a great day. Another thing I wanted to add is don't let your hose sit in the water when you go down to turn your pump off. Because when you go to turn your pump off, if the hose is in the water and it's higher elevation than your pump, it's going to start siphoning your tank back down the hill through the pump and back into the river until you get up here and pull it out. Or maybe you forget and your hose is left in here, and bam, you know, you come back later and all that hard work you just did, it just siphoned all back down and back into the river. So you got to be careful about that. Also with these electric pumps, it says all this in the instruction manuals, I'm sure, on them, but you always want to, this is my protocol, pull this guy out of the water so it doesn't siphon back down, go down to the river, turn the pump off, then I pull the hose out of the river and carry the pump back up here for storage, and then I turn the generator off. You don't want to cut power to it. Don't unplug the pump. Make sure you switch it off, and that'll make it last a lot longer. For whatever reason, the electrical systems on those things, cheaply made in China or whatever, you got to follow that protocol. Make sure you turn the pump off physically with a switch before you unplug it or before you turn your generator off. But yeah, just wanted to add that.